Good morning, good afternoon, and a very good evening, wherever you are out there on the World Wide Web. You're joining us here live tonight on Megacast. Hope you're having a good one, whatever you've been up to. I'm here and I'm with my partner in crime, Jake, tonight, and it's all about Jake. Yeah. So, without further ado, how are you feeling, Jake?
I'm very well, thank you, Tracy. Very good. How are you?
And you're not nervous?
No, I'm not nervous. No. It takes a lot to make me nervous.
Okay, let's see if we can make you nervous then, folks.
It should be
Tonight's show is all about, we thought we'd invite you into our lives a little bit. So you're going to get to see us, warts and all. You're going to get to know a little bit more about us personally that we wouldn't normally necessarily share. So are you ready for your first question?
I am. Shoot away.
Right, Jake, what is your favourite colour?
Oh, do you know what? I don't really have a favourite. I like red and I like blue, but I wouldn't say they're my favourite. I just don't have. I don't know. I just don't think colours are not like important to me.
Okay. So what star sign are you?
I'm a Libran. I'm very indecisive. Sit me down at a restaurant table with a menu or give me a takeaway menu and I will take hours.
I have seen that for myself, folks. When he has to order Chinese, Lee is tapping away at the side, getting very frustrated, very angry. It takes him all evening. Have you got any regrets, Jake, in your life? Is there something you think, oh, I wish I'd have done different, or I could have gone back and changed?
I never regret anything, Tracy. I try not to regret anything because I believe that you can't change it once it's done. So you may as well just think about the here and now rather than the future. It's the now that's important. So no, I don't regret anything. I might not like some things, but I don't regret it.
So for you, it's more like a learning. If you do something wrong, you learn from it and hopefully it makes you a better person so you don't repeat that cycle.
Exactly. Yeah.
I kind of get that. That's a nice sort of attitude to have.
Yeah.
Have you ever hurt yourself, Jake? Is there anything where you've ended up in hospital for in your life, like had an accident or a big operation? Or
the only operations I've had were when I was younger and I had grommets and T-tubes in my ears. I've never broken anything. I've never been in a car accident. I chopped the end of my thumb off a couple of years back. I don't know if you remember that. But it was just like a small slither off the end. And I wasn't in hospital overnight or anything for that, but it was bleeding quite badly, so I had to go to A&E because I couldn't get it to stop bleeding.
Ouch, yeah, in your thumb as well. It has a main artery in it, doesn't it? So
yeah, there's lots of nerve endings apparently in the ends of your fingers, and they can cause continual bleeding. So
do you have a bucket list, Jake? Is there some things or something you would specifically really, really like to do?
If I was well enough, I've always wanted to run a pub. Always wanted to run a pub. If I wasn't running a pub, I would be, and I could drive, I would probably run a food truck of some kind. But it'd have to be something like Mexican food or tacos or Asian or Chinese or just something a bit not British, basically.
I was going to say that was my next question, actually. That brings me on to that subject. What is your favourite food or dish?
My favourite food is Mexican. I absolutely love Mexican food. When I was living in Skegness, I worked at Skegness Pier for a while, And I used to finish work at Skegness Pier at about 5 o'clock. And then at 6 o'clock, I'd start work across the road in the Tex-Mex restaurant, waiting on, which really opened up my eyes to Mexican food, because their food in the restaurant was created. They actually went to Mexico to learn to cook the dishes.
Wow.
So they were proper, authentic Mexican dishes that they were putting on the menu. They were
Oh, I bet
absolutely amazing.
fabulous.
Mm.
So, in your ideal partner, Jake, what do you look for?
Just someone that makes me laugh, someone that makes me smile. I like laughter. I like to be, believe it or not, uh, I just like someone that makes me laugh and makes me chuckle. Humour is the way to go for me.
Are you a big family person, Jake?
Yes, we do like to get together with the family. It's quite important. I mean, like every family, we have our ups, we have our downs, we have our rows, we have our disagreements, but we're quite a close-knit family, really.
If you could live anywhere in the world, where would you choose?
Well, if I had the money to get set up, I would go to Camping Villamar in Benidorm, because there are lots of expats there. There's been TV programs about it on Channel 5. Sun, sand, cheap beer, and a relatively cheap lifestyle.
So, what's your biggest fear, Jake?
Oh, do I have? The only things I'm really scared of, I'm not. I'm getting better as I'm getting older. I'm not very good with lifts. I get very panicky in a lift. I don't know if you've ever been to the Sea Life Centre at Hull, but there's a lift that takes you through the different layers of the sea, so that you start at the bottom with the bottom feeders and you work your way up through the sea, and it's literally a glass sea that you can look through. So we got in this lift, and I thought it'd just be a straight up, straight down. And the thing is, it stopped mid sort of transportation, and I had this massive panic attack. I just freaked. I just absolutely freaked. And apparently, it's supposed to do that. So it's supposed to it stops for 30 seconds, so that you can take in the views and relax and have a look. And apparently, there was a sign before we went in that told you this, but I didn't see that sign.
So, obviously, if you knew it was just going to do that, it wouldn't have been such a shock.
Yeah.
Even though glass lift, you were still.
Oh, glass lifts are even worse. They have glass lifts at our shopping mall, and I can't look out of them because again, it's a heights thing. I'm not good with heights either.
So, what's your favourite TV show?
I have a couple of favourite TV shows. I am a massive Coronation Street fan. I could sit and watch Coronation Street all day, every day.
And if you could have your most favourite job in the world, what would that be? What would it consist of?
It would probably be something in TV. So maybe a cameraman, director, something to do with lighting, sound. It'd be in the background. And when I grew up, when I was growing up, I always wanted to be a TV cameraman. But then I thought, I had to think about it, and I thought, well, they might need me to go on a roller coaster or something, and I don't do those too well. Do you know what I mean? So I gave up on that idea.
So, if you could be any character off the stage, off the Broadway stage, what character would you say would suit your personality the best?
It'd be somebody funny. Someone like, I don't know, maybe a comedian like Michael McIntyre, or possibly the character that Dick Van Dyke played in Mary Poppins.
So, do you have any complaints or disabilities, Jake?
I do. I have a retrolisthesis, which is a long word to say. I think mine's the backward slip.
Of what?
Of my vertebrae has dislocated.
Okay.
And it's also putting pressure on my discs, which is causing bulging discs. And I also have an annular tear, which is nothing to do with my anus, and people often think it is. And I also have ataxia, which is it's a disorder that some people have it very severe, so they can't speak properly. They often walk like they're drunk. Their hands and their feet shake.
Is this a neurological disease?
It can be, but there are so many different types of ataxia that it can be genetic, it can be mutated, it can be neurological. They don't know what type of ataxia mine is, but it causes my hands to shake really badly.
Okay.
So holding things like a cup or a can, or getting peas and sweet corns in my mouth from a fork is ever so much fun. Because most of it ends up on the floor. I struggle with getting a key in a lock, doing up zips, buttons, childproof locks, anything
So
that
it's
causes.
real impact on your day to day then?
It really can, yeah, it really does.
It'd be a little bit like the Parkinson's tremor then that they get, because that's very tiring for them.
It is. It's very, very similar. I think the only difference is that Parkinson's is potentially life-threatening, whereas ataxia is not usually.
Okay. Thank you for that, Jake. If you could pick any animal, what's your favourite animal?
It would probably have to be an African grey, because they just amuse me. And I've got one, as you know. JJ, yeah, he's very amusing, and they make me chuckle. So I'm not so keen on Quaker parrots, though. They're not my favourite.
Blue is a bit of a nightmare, isn't he? So if you could go back in time to any era, any decade, what decade would you go back to?
I'd like to go back to Victorian times, but I wouldn't like to be a servant or anything like that. I'd like to be like a master of the house, as I couldn't be doing with living in squalor and having to clean other people's bits of whatever up. Do you know what I mean?
And what are your hobbies, Jake? What do you do in your downtime? What's your favourite go-to?
Well, probably something like this, because we do this a lot at the moment. It's old Megacast TV. I like to paint rocks. I'm not very good at it because of my shaky hands, but I do try.
And I've also heard through the grapevine you have pen pals. Do you want to tell us where how many there are and where they're situated?
I've got about 11 or 12, I think, last count. They're situated all over the world. I have one in Iceland. I have one in Canada. I have a couple in America. I have one in France. And I've just picked one up that I wrote my first letter to a couple of days ago from New Zealand. So quite a broad span of.
Do you find that hard when you're writing to them, with them being in different countries? Do they speak English or?
Most of them, well, they all speak English. They all are happy written for me to write in English, which is so pleasing because I can't speak Icelandic, and I can get by with French, but I'm not great.
So, who would your best friend be?
Oh dear. I think, firstly and foremost, it would probably be Lee. But if I wanted something like some mischief, it's got to be you, Trace. I like a bit of mischief with the wilding.
Oh, bless you. Thank you. So I'm going to ask you a few kind of things off my head at the moment. They're kind of quick things, okay?
Okay.
Night or day?
Night.
Stars or sun?
Sun.
Boat or plane?
Boat.
Dogs or fish?
Dogs.
Apple or pear?
Apple.
Mexican, Italian?
Ooh, Mexican. Only just though.
So, more on you, Jake. What colour eyes do you have?
I have blue eyes. always have had blue eyes, because some people's eye colour change, don't they, when they get older? I'm always told that I have really, really nice blue eyes.
Okay, how tall are you?
Oh, I'm 5'9", I think. Well, 5'10" on a good day.
Okay, let's go into some moments now, okay?
Okay.
So, back, Jake, think back. What's your most embarrassing moment?
My most embarrassing moment, waiting for my dad to come and pick me up, and because we were going out for the day, and the car pulled up outside, and I walked down the path out of the house, got into the car, turned around to reach to get my seatbelt, went like that to put the seatbelt in, and as I looked up, it wasn't my dad's car, and it wasn't my dad.
Oh, how old were you?
I was about 12.
Oh my
This guy
God.
never said a word, honestly. I just looked at him and I went, "Oh, you're not my dad."
Now, I know that you worked in hospital radio.
I worked in hospital radio. At the age of 12, I was the youngest hospital radio DJ in the country. So that was quite a claim to fame. So I did that from about the age of 12 to about the age of 18.
How long were you at Butlins, and what was your Butlins experience like, Jake?
My first job there was working on the amusement park on the Dodgems ride.
Really?
Yeah, I was pushing Dodgem cars about. I was only in the amusement park about 6 months, and I asked for a transfer to the supermarket, which is where a friend of mine worked. So I worked in the supermarket, and I was there in the supermarket for a couple of years, and I worked my way up to warehouse supervisor. I was in charge of 6 part-time staff, and everything was good. And I went to work in bars. And I worked in bars probably for about 18 months. Loved it. It was hard work because I worked in the adult nightclub venue, but the tips were amazing because everybody was drunk. So they just used to throw money at you because we were open till 2 a.m. and we were the only venue on site that was open till that time on a morning. And we spent many a happy time during the week after the venue closed, getting drunk from pipe cleaning. So we used to clean all the pipes out, and there were 2 bars in the venue. So one day we'd do the beer and cider on one bar, then the next day we'd do the beer and cider on the other bar, then the next day we'd do the lager and whatever else on one bar. So we were pipe cleaning 4 times a week. Well, we were pissed. Honestly, it's a good job we didn't start work the next day until like 6 o'clock in the evening, because we'd be up with the pipe cleaning drinks till gone. Well, sometimes it was daylight when we were going home, 8 o'clock in the morning. Because bear in mind, before we pipe clean, we had to wipe all the venue down, make sure it was all cleared and the glasses were put away and everything was stocked back up. And once all that was done, then we could go on with the pipe cleaning. Well, it was an amazing job. We had so much fun during pipe cleaning.
So have you made a lot of lifelong friends from that experience?
I really have. My sister came to work. I think what happened was she came on holiday with my mum while I was there, and she came and realised, I think, what good time I was having. And she wanted to come and work there too. So we both worked there for Christmas, and she worked the following season, and I worked there as well. And me and my sister shared, we called them sheds. The accommodation are called sheds because that's basically what they are. They're not very habitable, really. They're all right.
Was your sister Jackie?
Yes, my sister Jackie. Yes, and we had great times. We had an amazing time. Met some wonderful people, some of which I'm still in touch with.
That's fabulous.
Some of which I got back in touch with on Facebook. And we have a Butlins staff group on Facebook, so we can talk about the old memories.
Oh, that's great.
Good times.
Another thing that I wanted to touch on with you in your childhood and your teen, I don't know whether it was your childhood or your teenage years, but I know you were into amateur dramatics. Yeah. Now, how did that start? What was it all about?
How did that start? Well, I saw in an advert in the local newspaper, they were wanting kids to be members of Fagin's gang in Oliver.
Wow.
And they were holding auditions at a local theatre that no longer exists anymore. They knocked it down since then. I went to the auditions with my dad on that Sunday afternoon, and I got a part. I did shows with them every year. We maybe did 2 or 3 shows a year at the local theatre. It was all musical theatre, so there's a lot of singing involved. And I've done Chicago, I've done The King and I've done Fiddler on the Roof, I've done a local adaptation of A Christmas Carol by someone local.
Fabulous, Jake. You've had such a journey in your life, haven't you? You really have got out there and done some amazing things.
Do you know what? I always say to someone, especially Butlins, if you're 18 and you're at a wit's end and you just think, I want to do something, it doesn't have to be Butlins. It could be going to work on a cruise ship or, Haven or whatever.
Single with no attachments.
Yeah, but just do it. Just do it. Just go out there and enjoy yourself, because it's the best life experience you could ever have.
Who is your inspiration? From being a child, who did you look up to? Who did you think, wow, I'd love to be like them?
If there was someone from my childhood that inspired me, it was probably my dad, He was a big role model, and never sort of stopped me from doing anything that I wanted to do, as long as it was legal and,
Yeah.
and they could afford it.
Well, I'd like to leave it there, Jake, but I'd like to thank you. It's been a real honour getting to know you tonight.
You're welcome, Trace. That's no problem at all. It's been nice chatting.
It's really good. And I hope you folks have got to know Jake a little bit more as well. So on that note, I'm going to say be bold, be beautiful, and be unique, and we'll catch you soon.
Oh dear, that's funny.
Right, let me dock this.
Right, let me open this can.
Jake, I'm not going to broadcast with you tonight if you don't behave your bloody self.
I'm just in a mischievous mood.
Oh, that's good. That's all right. I got to my 8, so I'm a bit grouchy.
Okay.
Right. I'm ready when you are.
Okay. Do you want to do me first or you first?
I'll do you first.
Okay. I'll let you open the show then, as it were.
Okay, let me think about this a minute then.
Okay.
Right, go on then.
Go on then.
These will be good boopers.
Have you coughed?
Oh, shut up, because you'll make me want to do it again, and I've already had a cigarette to stop me.